The Crunchyroll Awards have finally aired and passed, and it's now since been a couple of days, maybe close to a week now, since we have heard all of the winners. And before you continue on with the rest of this video, yes, this is quite possibly another rant video on how the Crunchyroll Awards is just a popularity contest. But I will also go into Anime of the Year, Best Drama, because for some reason I am griping over Best Drama the most, AOT's placement in the Crunchyroll Awards, because it's just kind of proof to some extent that it's a popularity contest just by the fact that it's nominated so much, and also the overall looming conversation that I think needs to be had around shonen's placement or popularity in the anime community and within awards. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Animel. If you haven't been here before, I'm Mel, the host of this channel. First things first, Anime of the Year Award. Obviously, this is the most discussed award from the Crunchyroll Awards. I think for any award show, the movie of the year, the show of the year, the actress or actor of the year, this is always the most talked about award, so let's get it out of the way. While there are a lot of noteworthy candidates for Anime of the Year award, I think most people were debating over Jujutsu Kaisen and Vinland Saga Season 2s respectively. And while this is not going to be me justifying one over the other or debating one over the other, I'm just gonna go ahead and say that I voted for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. I hope that when I voted for it, it included both part 1 and part 2. And the only reason that I'll explain as to why I did so and why I'm okay with Jujutsu Kaisen winning Anime of the Year award is that looking solely at Season 2s for each of these shows, it felt like Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 as a standalone had a more complete story, whereas if I told somebody to watch Jujutsu Kaisen, I told them to completely ignore episode or Season 1 and watch just Season 2 versus Season 2 of Vinland Saga. I'm sure that the story alone from Jujutsu Kaisen, the plot twist, the explanation behind Gojo's backstory, I'm sure that they would probably think that Gojo is the main character at this point if that's all they watched. But I think that the extent in which the story is written for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, the animation, MAPPA really pushed the limits, quite literally, considering their employees were overworked, but we're not going to talk about that today. And I felt like it was just really earth-shattering what that season did for anime fans this year. And while I think that Vinland Saga does of the same thing, Vinland Saga is a more complete story with the attachment of Season 1. I think comparatively, Vinland Saga with Season 1 and Season 2 together is just more robust, and the contrast between both seasons to emphasize the message of Vinland Saga's whole storyline is important to factor in. For most people and for lots of fans, when you start Vinland Saga Season 2, you don't know what's going on. It's really hard to grasp. And obviously, you know that we're gonna get to our main character Thorfinn at some point. We wouldn't just abandon him. It just feels like the lack of explanation in the beginning really made it hard to justify its story. And while the story does pick up in the latter half of Vinland Saga Season 2, making it the most compelling MC story arc I have ever seen, I can understand why it didn't trump Jujutsu Kaisen. Now, am I saying that Vinland Saga didn't equally deserve Anime of the Year? Absolutely not. I think it's just as qualified, and if it won, I would have been equally as happy, maybe just a little bit happier, just because Jujutsu Kaisen was an expected winner for me. Now, whether you disagree with me or not, it doesn't really matter because that's not the point of this whole video. But you know, you could hate and rant in the comments as much as you like. I'm expecting that from creating a video like this. Okay, moving on to, I want to say, is the meat and potatoes of this video, where my biggest complications with the Anime Awards and why it's just a popularity contest, and at the end of the day, you know, I know better. I'm just gonna say this, I know better. Before you put in the comments, but it's just a popularity contest. We've always known this. Honestly, yes, that's true. And it's just an award show. Like, there's no heavy credibility to it. So I'm just gonna put that out there, okay? But with the nominations of Attack on Titan, noted, Attack on Titan got 10 nominations, okay? 10 nominations. And do you want to know what part of Attack on Titan was nominated for the awards this year? It was that one episode that was released in March. You know, the episode where Hanj dies? Yes, it's a good episode, but it's literally like that hour-long episode that was nominated, in contrast to all of the other nominated anime in that category. Now, does the length of the anime matter? Absolutely not. That's not what's quantifiable here. But if I should just say, that episode of Attack on Titan was highly underwhelming in its placement of season 4, and it wasn't as dramatic enough. So for it to win Drama of the Year was very confusing for me. And for it to get 10 nominations, and if you follow me on Instagram and you watch my stories, then you'll know that I have clearly and explicitly stated, and I'm gonna stand strongly on this soapbox, Attack on Titan this year should not have been nominated for anything but Best Score. Attack on Titan's score has been everything exceptional for like its entire existence, but most notably for season 4, whether it was part 1, part 2, part 3, part 1, or part 3, part 2, I don't know, but it's always been great. So when it won Best Score, I said, fine, I'm okay with that, and you know what, this is just. But for it to win Best Drama over Vinland Saga, it has been one of the most, I guess, captivating stories, dramatic-wise, that I've watched this year. You may agree or you may disagree. And if Vinland Saga didn't win it, then there are at least 2 other anime that should have outbeat Attack on Titan from the Best Drama category. Oshi no Ko, while not a shonen, which, you know, indicates some problematic themes within the award show, was a highly dramatic season. Just from its 1.5-hour first episode. If you tuned into Oshi no Ko and thought you were getting a love story, you were horribly mistaken. I think that's dramatic factor number 1. And then the story dives now into a murder mystery. I feel like inherently murder mysteries and dramas kind of are like, they kind of go together thematically. Another anime, Heavenly Delusion, or otherwise known as Tengoku Daimakyo, is another anime that aired on Hulu that took me extremely by surprise. If you don't live in the United States, then it probably aired on Disney Plus for you. This show started off as what seemed like a generic shonen, generic action adventure anime that was coming, but you started to notice something in which we were following these 2 main characters around, but then there were these other 2 main characters, and you really didn't know where the story was going. I'm going to try my best not to ruin Heavenly Delusion for you, just in the manner of which Heavenly Delusion story is told. Creates a lot of emphasized drama because you have a character that like has no memories of their, you know, previous years, and another character whose backstory is really mysterious up until halfway through the season, and they're searching for this place called heaven in a world like this dystopian world and society that is plagued by these monsters. And at the same time, there's a second story being told side by side of these kids that live in what may seem like a heavenly type facility because it's very peaceful, but there's a lot of weird occurrences happening and a lot of children dying, which kind of gave Promised Neverland vibes. Another anime that's highly dramatic. So, case in point, there were 3 other more qualified anime that should have and could have won Best Drama, but instead Attack on Titan did. And, you know, I've got questions / perspectives that I'd like to converse with you all about. And that's 1, the rules around the Anime Awards. I'm gonna read this next part off because I think it's really important. So according to Crunchyroll's qualification for an anime being nominated, and I quote, unless stated otherwise, nominees must be or be associated with an anime that meets all of the following requirements, is considered an animated series. That's number 1. Primary production occurred in Japan. That's number 2. 1 episode aired on television or online in Japan between October 2022 and September 2023, at least part of it. I'm gonna stop right there before I continue. That means that Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2, Part 1, those first 5 episodes of Hidden Inventory qualified clearly because they aired during July and August. And then Part 2, which was Shibuya Incident, the Shibuya arc, also aired in September and late August. The first episode dropped August 31st. So both have them qualified. Additionally, it may look like that Shibuya arc could qualify for 2025. Now, I would hope that Crunchyroll would not allow that to happen, considering it's already been nominated and well voted for. They won 9 awards this year, not complaining, just stating the facts that they probably don't need to be in next year's awards. You know, it could be the season that comes after that or the movie that comes after that, whichever course MAPPA decides to take with Jujutsu Kaisen. This also means that, as I stated earlier, it was just that one episode of Attack on Titan that was nominated. Not that one episode and the second episode where we got to see the complete end of Attack on Titan and Eren's end, because that aired in November, so technically that's eligible for nomination for 2025 awards next year. Just gonna put that out there. You could sleep on that. All right, number 4, at least one episode had its initial legal distribution outside of Japan in 2022 or 2023. And that's kind of where the rules fall in order to be nominated. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of confusion perhaps amongst fans, but I don't know if this confusion also stands with the judges. I don't know how well the rules for nomination and for voting was articulated to people. You know, that is all very questionable, and I'd like to understand if you, as someone who enjoys the Crunchyroll Awards or someone who engages at a minimum with the Crunchyroll Awards, understood those rules and those qualifications. But all the anime that I've mentioned aside, because Vinland Saga definitely deserved better. I think if that's not the title of this, then it'll probably be something else in regards to popularity. But just the fact that Shonen clearly continues to dominate year after year in lots of the popular categories is like a glaring red flag to me. I wish I had like red and green flags. You know, maybe I should invest in that for fun. It's a major red flag for what we qualify as good art in the industry. Now, I am by no means a professional, so please don't like come at me by saying, well, these are professionals that voted. Yes, 70% of the vote is from professionals. And these same professionals also pick the nomination. But it's kind of interesting how it turns into like the Shonen Awards at some point, just because if you look at every single category that is not a character category or a specific genre category, like best drama, best romance, best fantasy, Shonen otherwise dominated in best cinematography, best director, best score, and best character design, you name it. I think the only 2 categories that we saw winners that were not of the shonen variety or action adventure type of variety was best film. The winner for that was Suzume, and best original. The winner for that was Buddy Daddies. All of that is just to say that, 1, the Crunchyroll Awards is clearly a popularity contest. And while it's fun to engage in and fun to have conversation in, and by no means should you take this video extremely seriously despite my facial expressions, I'm just having fun here like the rest of all the content creators and everyone else having conversations around the Crunchyroll Awards. But I do want to highlight that the Crunchyroll Awards is oversaturated with shonen category, and I would like to ask, you know, you as viewers and engagers of anime, is it because the quality of other genres is just not up to par? Or has the community become extremely biased towards shonen just due to the surgence of really amazing shonen animation and lots of new shonen storylines being animated? Or is it just the sheer volume of shonen that's being animated in contrast to every other genre? And then the second thing I'll say is that for the 2025 Crunchyroll Awards, considering the rules, we should expect Free Run to be nominated. If you haven't seen my Free Run video, please check it out. But Free Run has been kind of like so popular lately. And not only popular, I'd even say that it is groundbreaking for the anime community to see a new, refreshing storyline like this in a while. And I think that this could be an anime, at least while I'm currently still alive, that may make the history books for one of the greatest animes in this generation's history. So that's all to say that if, and you know, there's gonna be more anime that gets released this year, but I don't think any is gonna be as great or better than Free Run. If Free Run is not winning, you know, a couple awards, I'm not talking about Jujutsu Kaisen bags deep, but at least 1 to 2 awards in the 2025 awards, then you know I'm just gonna have to ask, who are these judges that are nominating and also account for 70% of the vote for the Crunchyroll Awards? I'm just curious, asking as a longtime fan of anime that enjoys to debate about these things. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm sure there are many other videos out there just like this. So for you to choose to watch mine, I appreciate it. I kind of just wanted to get my 2 cents out there. This is probably something that will likely not happen again, just because I do enjoy talking about just the love I have for anime, and I don't like to talk down to any other anime. And I'm not talking down to any of the anime on this list, really. All of them are fantastic anime in their own right, and I enjoy each of their art forms in different ways and for what they have to offer. So again, thank you for tuning in and watching this whole entire video, or watching parts of this video. I honestly, truly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. However, that's gonna do it for me. Thank you so much again. Catch me next week on another episode of Animel. I'm Mel, the host of Animel. See you next time. Bye.